Today we're going to ride and review the VTX 1300. Check it out. Alright y'all, today we're going to take it out of the garage and we're going to do us a ride and review on that bike way over there. That's a good friend of mine's VTX 1300. He just bought it. That was actually his first bike. So we're going to hop on it and ride it. But first, the analytics from my videos show that only 1% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed. But you're like, a lot of views. I mean, for a channel that ain't really nothing. At any given point of the day, there's people watching some video on my channel. So if y'all could do me a favor and just simply hit the like button and subscribe, that'd be mighty awesome of you. This is a channel completely dedicated to motorcycles, every aspect. Builds, paint, tutorials, rides, reviews, and more. So help us out, go on and subscribe. You know you want to. But back on topic, let's get into the helmet. This is the VTX 1300C model with a fork angle of 32 degrees, a trail of 5.9 inches and 41mm forks up front. The 1300 is very capable in cornering as well as high speeds. With a 3-valve 1312cc or 80 cubic inch V-twin engine, this bike has plenty of power for whatever you want to do. The 5-speed transmission and 5-position adjustable preload rear shocks make it perfectly capable for around town as well as long trips. Well, y'all, it'd probably be a little bit safer if I actually buckled my helmet here. Probably not a good idea to not do that. Alright, so the very first thing that I notice about this motorcycle is that it's very comfortable. And that, you know, you might be sitting there thinking, oh well, of course Jeff, of course it's comfortable. It's a cruiser with a Mustang seat. But even past that, I mean, the seating position, it's not the typical sitting position that I like, but it is very comfortable. It feels kind of like you're sitting in a chair, like a chair with handlebars. Your legs are like a 90-degree angle straight down, and you sit up, and bars are a little low for me, but, you know, it is a nice bike. Second thing that I notice is that it's actually very fluid in its movements. Very, very fluid bike. You could easily get through the corners with this. It has a good ground clearance, so I mean you could scrape the side of these floorboards as much as you wanted to before this bike ever even thought about going down. It's very comfortable. Like I said, very nice seat position and everything else, and the power is there. It's not, you know, not going to do a bunch of wheelies. I mean, I guess you could probably make it do wheelies if you wanted to, but it's also not made for that. But it's not going to do it involuntarily. You're not going to accidentally just do wheelies on this thing and, you know, be burning tires everywhere you go. But it does have plenty of usable power. Cut that a little short. And you can feel it when you get into it. Feel it rumbling, as they say, up underneath you. But it's a smooth rumble. It's not like a Harley rumble where you're like, whoa. It's a real smooth motor. Really well balanced. One thing that I can say I do not like about this bike though is how long the gears are. These gears are very, very long, and in first gear it feels wonky on the clutch. I don't know quite how to describe it,
The best way that I could describe it would be you don't have that. First gear doesn't feel like it's geared for a first gear. It feels like it's geared to be one of your higher gears that you would use the entirety of and all that. If that makes any sense at all, probably not. It just feels like you have to let off the clutch and give it more gas than what you should for a first gear. Once again, if that makes any sense at all. That and the clutch kind of just feels soft, loose. It doesn't feel, you know, tight, you know, good friction zone and all that. But I mean, hey, it's not a sport bike and it's not a performance-based bike. It's a cruiser bike, and you could realistically go pretty much wherever you wanted to on this bike. This is the C model, and the C model is the kind of sportier version, I guess, of the VTX 1300 line. This one is it's kind of slimmed down, you know, kind of has that, you know, a little bit more narrow and bigger front wheel, more of a custom look to it, as custom as you can get from being, you know, coming from the factory. But it is a nice looking bike, really cool color. VTXs usually came in really nice colors. As you can see, it's a heavy bike, but I mean, it's not anything to get it to maneuver however you want it to, even in a parking lot, and low speeds and all. We're gonna run over here while I'm doing this video. I gotta run over here into this O'Reilly. But see, that's what I mean about the clutch. I'll show you again once I get out. Let me see if I can whip it. How tight it'll whip. And it hits my knees. That's what sucks about being a big guy. So I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that. This bike just starts so easy. Can't get over that. How you doing, man? Wow, he's at a staring contest. I guess he was mad that he didn't know how to drive very well. Anyway, so back to the bike. Every time I put on this camera, somebody somewhere just has to be rude. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so back to the bike. As you can see, has absolutely no problem getting up. Plenty of power. I don't know if you can hear the pipes that well, but they sound very good. This is a very, very smooth feeling running machine. Handling is very, very good. It's comfortable. It just wants to do what you want it to do. It's very fluid. Very, very nice. So somebody that would buy this bike would probably be somebody that wanted to get into riding, but maybe you're a bigger guy like me, or the guy who actually owns this, my friend of mine, Mark. We're both well above 6 feet tall. I'm 6'5", he's probably 6'4", 6'5". We're pretty big guys. We're not exactly skinny. We're not fat, but we're not skinny. Somebody like that, and then the bigger guy who gets on it as a first bike or whatever. You're not going to outgrow this bike in the same amount of time that you would on, say, a smaller bike. I've heard of guys my size getting on like the Vulcan 900, which is a great bike, but what the problem is, they outgrow it quickly, pretty quickly. So something like this, you don't have to outgrow this. This might be the first and last bike that you buy if you're, a big dude. The number 2 type of person that I can see buying this bike would be somebody that is an experienced rider, likes to ride and everything, but also wants a bike that's kind of that like all around just good bike to have, to run. What I mean by that would be somebody who wants a bike that they can ride around town, that's nimble enough and agile enough, quick enough to go around town. But then, you might want to throw some bags on it and hit the road, go for a good little trip somewhere. It'd be plenty comfortable for that. And with the seat and everything, with the seat, the way it's set up, these bars, it feels very nice. Yeah, like I said, I kind of feel like I'm sitting in a chair. But at the same time, this bike has enough power and enough weight behind it to where you could go, I could see easily doing, between 300 and 500 miles a day on this bike realistically. And it's very smooth. The acceleration is very smooth. It's just an all-around good, nice feeling bike. Now, the things that I don't really like about it, that I'm not too fond of, number 1, there's no gas gauge. So if you do go and you want to take it on a trip somewhere, you have to watch that. Even if you're just around town, you're going to have to watch that. Watch out for that. Yeah, I know it's kind of one of those things where it's just a convenience, but it's a convenience that I like to have, because I like to know where my gas is while I'm riding, If you're riding for a couple hours at a time, you're not looking in your tank, and that one time that you miscalculate the mileage that you can go on a tank, well, that's gonna suck. Oh man, I just feel like I was on a dirt bike running across them tracks. Number 2 thing, speaking of the tracks, I don't like how stiff the suspension is on this thing. It's way too stiff, very stiff, almost like the forks are overfilled with fork oil or something. I don't know. It just feels really tight in the front end. It's not really a bad thing. I wouldn't say it's one of those things that I don't like, but it's not something that I prefer in a bike. I don't like spongy front ends, but I don't like them to be this hard. So the real number 2 that I don't like is going to be the clutch. It can probably be upgraded. Matter of fact, I know it can be upgraded with the Barnett clutch, probably among others, but it just feels spongy, like, look at this thing. And this is stock. This bike doesn't have that many miles on it. It's just not, not really what I would go down the road with. I'd have to address it. And this, you can tighten that up. But I'd have to put a different actual clutch in it. Oh, it's a Grobek. If you know what a Grobek is, comment below. Let me know. Let me know that you know what a Grobek is. Also, if anybody recognizes the area of Louisiana I'm in, let me know. We can go ride. Anyway, so the third thing that I don't really like about this, once again, has to do with the gearing and the clutch and everything. I don't like the gearing of this bike. Not necessarily second to fifth. I don't like first gear. First gear feels like it has the length and the ratio of like what a second gear usually is. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just long. But other than that, those are my only real complaints about this bike. Other than that, it's a good bike. So I definitely suggest it. I'll go through a little more in depth once I get back to the house. But until then, enjoy nice motorcycle scenery.
So there you have it. That's my review and ride of the VTX 1300. Overall, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. The reason I'm saying 7.5 is because the things that you want just ain't there. And that gearing of the first gear and the clutch just doesn't sit right with me. Those things could probably be overcome by putting in aftermarket parts or doing whatever it is that you need to do to get around it. But as it sits, that's what I give it. It's got plenty of power, plenty of space. You're able to go on trips if you want to, but it's still light and nimble enough to go around town if that's what you wanted to do. Overall, it's a good bike. It's not the best bike in the world, but it's definitely not the worst bike in the world. If you know how to get over any of these problems with the VTX, comment below, let me know. Let people who watch this video know. If you disagree with me, tell me why. Let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time.